Today's shir Leila Nishmas Tzidav Ben Chaim Pesach. Leila Nishmato. And my dear son Osher Shmuel Chaim and Ephraim Vitziona. Leila Nishmato. You know, God works in very mysterious ways. Very mysterious ways. The Megila story, you have Achashverosh, right? A non-Jewish buffoon king who craves publicity, respect, saves the Jews of Iran, Persia, right? In order to please his Jewish wife, right? Achashverosh, he's a clown, a buffoon, wants publicity, craves publicity, respect, right? Saves the Jews of Paras, Iran to please his Jewish wife, right? Fast forward 2,400 years, you have another non-Jewish buffoon, the Donald, craving publicity, respect, and promises to save Israel from Iran to please his Jewish daughter and Jewish grandchildren.
He's the only one promising to go against Iran.
That's right. So isn't that incredible? But anyway, so here you have another non-Jewish buffoon craving publicity, respect. All he wants people to talk about him, right? And he promises to save Israel from the modern day Iran Paras, who speak the same way, right? It's a Purim spiel. Maybe Trump will play the role of Achashverosh to get rid of the modern day Haman, Ayatollah Khamenei, who last week they launched a missile, and written on the missile was, Israel must be destroyed. So it looks like God has a sense of humor. It's like a real Purim spiel. You never know, right? So you see that God works in mysterious ways. You have Esther, Achashverosh, right? Craving publicity to please his Jewish wife. And here you have another buffoon, the Donald, craving publicity and respect, and he wants to please his Jewish grandchildren. You know, you have Jewish grandchildren who go to yeshiva in order to save Israel from the modern day Iran, who speak just like Haman, the same address. In fact, today is called Ayatollah Khamenei. So it looks like God has a Purim spiel and God has a sense of humor. Now the holiday is called Purim, which is very strange. Purim means lots. Why do you call a holiday lots? Just because Haman drew lots? What does it got to do with anything? Purim is the holiday to be happy with your lot in life. So the holiday is called Purim, which means lot. A person should be happy with his lot in life. Many people are not. They say woulda, shoulda, coulda, would have done this, would have done that. If is a big stiff, right? But Purim teaches him to be happy with your lot in life because I am custom built and designed by Hashem. And whatever I have in life, you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. I'm not just a child of God, I am B'ni B'chori Yisrael. The first message in Shemos Perik Dalit that God sends to Paroi, B'ni, what does B'ni mean? My child, B'chori Yisrael. My firstborn child is Israel. Not just a child. A person can have 20 children, but there can only be one firstborn. So every one of us is not just a child of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but everyone is a B'ni B'chori Yisrael. All of us are firstborn, and the firstborn is special. Because the firstborn makes the couple what? Parents. And they have 9 kids later, they're still parents. But what makes the couple parents? It's the firstborn. So every Jew in Exodus 4 is not just a child of God, but B'ni B'chari Yisrael. And if I remember that, I'll be happy with my lot in life. Because I am custom made and custom built by Kodesh Baruch Hu to be his special, not just child, but B'chor. Now, Amalek, Haman, Amalek, Friday morning we're going to read the Parsha of the Yovei Amalek. Friday morning, Amalek is Haman, the same address. Haman is Amalek. There's one word that keeps popping up with Amalek. In Exodus 17, Yeris Aviva, Amalek, the first terror attack in history. First terror attack in history. Moshe Rabbeinu tells Yeshua ben Nun, he was the chief of the IDF, Tzei hilachem be'amalek machar. Rabbi Yaakov, what's wrong with today? In Exodus 17, Abraham, you're going to read this Purim morning, right? One of the 6 mitzvahs on Purim is to read Vayavei Amalek. Amalek terrorizes us. So Yeshua ben Nun is told by Moshe Rabbeinu, Tzei hilachem be'amalek, when? Machar. Moshe, what's wrong with today? Tomorrow. And in the Megillah, Esther tells Achashverosh, she wants to invite Haman to a drinking party. Umachar esek kidvar hamelech. The drinking party is not today. When is it? Umachar. And then, after the drinking party, she says the gamla machar. What's this word, Rachmiel, the word machar, when it comes to Amalek? Yeshua ben Nun is told by Moses, go fight Amalek tomorrow. Esther keeps saying, I want Haman to come when? Machar. What's wrong with today? And what's the message for us? We know that Amalek is the symbol of what? The Yetzer Hara. Who is Amalek? The Yetzer Hara. That's the Yetzer Hara's game plan, buddy. I know I should stop speaking Lashon Hara. It's not good for me. But what does the Yetzer Hara say? Machar. You want to do tshuva, not speak Lashon Hara? Start tomorrow. I know I should quit smoking. Start tomorrow. I know I should go on a diet. I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow. Connie never comes. Machar, Amalek is the Yetzer Hara. Right? Start doing tshuva. Stop speaking Lashon Hara. Machar. Go on a diet. Quit smoking. Machar. Do tshuva machar. But tomorrow never comes. That's the Yetzer Hara strategy. And therefore, by the Amalek story, you have the word what? Machar repeated over and over again. So Purim teaches me to be happy with your lot, because all of us are custom made and custom built by Kodesh Baruch Hu. Now, isn't it strange that the one day of Achdut, we have Purim, Lech Kenoisas Kol HaYehudim. Esther says, Lech Kenoisas Kol HaYehudim, gather all the Jews together. V'tzumu alai v'al tochlu v'al tishtu. Fast and don't eat and drink. That's what Esther says. Fast and don't eat and drink. Well, I know what fasting means. Isn't it redundant? Tzumu v'al tochlu v'al tishtu. What else does it mean, Rachmiel? I know that fasting means not to eat and drink. So how come she has to say tzumu v'al tochlu v'al tishtu? Rav Soloveitchik explains that the word tzom in Hebrew is the same root as tzama, tzadi mem hey, which means to tie together. Tzadi mem hey in Hebrew means to tie together, to braid together. The purpose of a fast today is not to go on a diet. It's we should braid together, unite. If we're all hungry, we're all uncomfortable, we can feel each other's pain. So the purpose of today's fast is to unite, tzumu alai, braid together through the eating and not eating and drinking, braid together. So the purpose of the fast is to unite. So the one chag that we're supposed to unite, can't we be on the same page? In remote, certain people read the Megillah on the 14th, certain people on the 15th. There's this confusion. Why can't we be on the same page? Hanukkah, Kani, we're on the same page, right? All the other Yom Tov on the same page. The one Yom Tov we're supposed to unite together, why can't we be on the same page? This confusion, the 14th, the 15th, I'm all mixed up. So to answer this question, we have to ask another question. Why is there no Hallel on Purim? That's one answer. But another answer is because after the Nes Purim, Ezra pleaded with the Jews to make Aliyah. And they refused. They remained in Babylon, Long Island. And the Gemara in Yom at page 9 says, if the Yidden would have answered Ezra's call to make Aliyah after Purim, The second temple never would have been destroyed. The Messiah would have come. No Churban and no Holocaust and no terrorism. But since the Jews refused to come back after the Purim miracle, they remained behind the Babylon Long Island. So as a penalty, the Sanhedrin said, no Hallel, and you can't celebrate on the same day. That's a penalty. You want unity? You want to say Hallel? That's only where? In Pisgat Zev. I mean in Rechavia.
That's the same thing over and over.
Over and over again, right? So after the great miracle of Purim, some people, Chanoch, just don't get it. The Jews remained in Babylon, Long Island. If they would have made Aliyah after Purim miracle, there would be no Chorban Beis Hamikdash. Mashiach would have come right then and there. So unfortunately, we are still waiting because the Jews still remain in Babylon, Long Island, and in Lakewood, right? Unfortunately. Now, some people cannot get to shul to hear the Megillah. Can you hear the Megillah on the radio? So the Rabbi Yosef says, "Hashemeya Megillah b'radio eino yotze, she'eino shemeya kol hakoreh." You hear the Megillah on the radio, you don't fulfill your mitzvah because you're not hearing the voice of the reader. Elo kol miklat al yedei chashmal, but you're hearing electronic radio waves, and therefore you're not yotze, not even by telephone, because you're not hearing the guy's voice. You're hearing, what's the word, a reproduction, right? But the Gemara Megillah, page 18, tells us that Rameir was once stuck somewhere in Asia Minor, and it was Purim, and he had no Megillah, and he wrote the entire Megillah by memory. He must have taken a lot of spirulina that morning. He wrote the entire Megillah by memory. So the Gemara in Megillah 18 asks, but that's against the halacha. You have to copy Megillah from another Megillah. Writing from memory is pasul. So how could Rameir write the Megillah from memory and read the Megillah? So the Gemara Megillah 18 says, Shas Hatchak Shani. Rameir was in a place where there was no other Megillah. There's no choice. No choice. So if there's no choice, a person never can't get to shul, then Skype would be okay.
I'm sure.
Shais would be okay, right? Because Shas Hatchak would be okay. Today is Tanis Esther. But if you look in the Megillah, Esther didn't fast today. She fasted, Rachmiel, last Pesach. So why are we fasting today? Well, today, if you look in the Megillah, the 13th of Adar, the Jews went out to battle. And they killed 75,000 terrorists. That's what Megillah says. They didn't negotiate with them. They didn't wound them. They killed 75,000 terrorists. And in biblical times, when Jews went to war, what did they do? Chanoch? They fasted. They fasted. So the fast today, it's really not Esther's fast. It's to commemorate the fast that the 13th of Adar, 24 years ago, the Jews defended their lives against terrorists. And the Jews went to war in the days of Tanakh. They fasted. So we commemorate that. Isn't that strange?
It's additional fast. It's not only the fast that she called for 3 days. This was an additional.
But it's not Tanis Esther. This is the fast that it's a misnomer. Nothing to do with Esther, really. The question is, when Jews went to war in Bible times, why would they fast? I would think, buddy, they'd eat more Wheaties. Why did they fast? Eat more pastrami sandwiches, have more koach. No, the Jews fasted.
Because of the sin going to that banquet.
To them, in Bible times, Jews always fasted when they went to war. Look in the book of Shmuel. Because to demonstrate that the victory doesn't come from me, it comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yiddish Ruvain, to magnify the miracle, the Jews dafke fasted. Well, of course I have to do ishtadlut, go through the motions. But ultimately, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu wins the wars. To demonstrate that, the Jews dafke what? Fasted when they went to war. Today they went to war, and therefore we commemorate that fast. That's one reason why we fast today. One reason. Another reason is to be metakein the sin. We went to the drunken orgy of Achashverosh, where we ate the food and drink, and even if the food and drink was kosher, the entertainment was not kosher. So to be metaken that sin of eating and drinking at Achashverosh's party, what do? We fast. So one way to be metaken the sin of eating is not to eat. But there's another way. The other way is what? Dafke to eat, buddy. L'shem shemayim. We ate at Achashverosh's party. Now eat and do it my way. Now we're eating L'shem shemayim. So the tikkun comes from the chet. We see that by the chet ha'egel. We sinned with a golden calf. So God says, now take gold and what? Do it my way. So we sin with eating and drinking. So one way to be metaken that is to what? To fast. And the other way is what? To eat and drink. Now the Zohar says Yom Kippurim, today, tomorrow, is a day like Yom Kippur. What do you do on Yom Kippur, buddy? First you feast, and then you fast. And on Purim, first you fast, and then you feast. B'nahapachu. It's an upside down world, Moshe. Today is Yom Kippurim, right? The Zohar says Yom Kippur is a day like Purim. Why is it a day like Purim? Yom Kippur, the Mishnah Yuma says, only atones for sins bein Adam lamakom. Sins between man and God. Sins between man and man, Yom Kippur does not atone. Too bad. So which day does atone sins between man and man, says the Ari? Purim. By sending Mishloach Monot and the Suda Matunas of Yoinim, you're getting kapara bein Adam lechavero. So therefore you should send Shlach Monos dafke to a guy that you had a fight with. Because Yom Kippur is not going to do it. Yom Kippur only between man and God. But if you insult somebody, Yom Kippur doesn't atone. What does atone? Yom Kippurim, Purim. So on Yom Kippur, Erev Yom Kippur is a mitzvah to what? Feast. And the next day, fast. And Purim is just the opposite. What are we doing today? Fasting. And tomorrow we're going to feast. So it's like a little bit of an upside down world that we have. Right? Now it's very strange that we name a cake after Haman. Yeah. Imagine calling Arafat cake. Can you imagine? Haman Tashin? Moshe, why do you name a cake after Ayatollah Khomeini? A Haman cake. Arafat cake. That's pretty bizarre.
He got us to do teshuvah.
Oh, excellent.
I didn't hear it.
Because Haman was good for the Jews. Because the Gemara Megillah 14 says that Haman did more for the Jews than the 48 Nevi'im. The 48 Nevi'im, they all said, do tshuva, and we were out to lunch. Comes along Haman with the final solution, and all the Yidden become what? Haredi. So isn't that incredible that in a way Haman was what? Was good to the Jews, and therefore we name a what? A cake after. We wouldn't call it Arafat Tashin, would we, buddy? But Haman Tashin, because he caused us to do tshuva. Another reason why we call it Haman Tashin is a strange Gemara in Sanhedrin, page 96. The Gemara in Sanhedrin 96 says, B'nei Banav Shel Haman Lamdu Torah B'nei Brak. Yiddish Kani, very strange. Haman's great-grandchildren joined the koilel in Bnei Brak. Think pretty bizarre, right? But today they're living in Rechavia. Today, great-grandchildren of a Nazi SS officers with blonde payas. Who said truth is stranger than fiction? Haman's great-grandchildren converted to Judaism and became Lamdei Torah B'nei Brak. So, right? And today you have children in Ask Rabbi Wine. He told me that he knows them. Great-grandchildren of Nazi SS officers with lange blonde payas.
So did Trotsky's grandson.
Well, Trotsky was Jewish. Trotsky is Jewish. We're talking about Nazi SS officers. So we name a cake after Haman that in a bizarre way, in all evil there is what? Some good. Moshe, you never know. Haman was actually good to the Jews because he caused the Yidden to do tshuva, which all the Nevi'im and Tanakh could not. And therefore, the Hamantash in Chanoch, it's all covered up with dough, but there's a little bit of jam peeking through. Sometimes you have to look with a magnifying glass to see the jam peeking through, right, Yehuda?
That's what makes it.
Right? So what's the symbolism, Abraham? Haman looks totally evil. The good is all covered up, but if you look closely, you see a little bit of jam peeking through. It looks like he's all evil. You can't see any good, but Haman caused the Yidden to do tshuva. That's the little bit of jam peeking through, surely. Looks like it's all evil, but in all evil there has to be a kernel of good. And that's why the Hamantash is all covered up, but in the middle, there's some jam peeking through. Sometimes you have to look really hard. So in all Jewish customs, there's what? There's something there. It's not just stam. It's not just stam, right? So all the 48 Nevi'im, buddy, they told us to do tshuva in one ear, out the other. Did they fail? Dr. Abramson, you think they failed? The Gemara Megila says there were millions of Nevi'im. Millions. How come only 48 are written down? Because those millions of Nevi'im, they spoke for their time. I'm not interested. But the 48 Nevi'im that we have are God's GPS. They're speaking to us. They didn't fail because they didn't speak to them. How do I know? Because millions of Nevi'im that did speak to them, Chanoch, are not recorded. They're lost. We don't have to know. But the 48 Nevi'im, says the Megillah, that are written down, the Gemara Megillah, are speaking to us today. And if you want to know now how, you have to come every Thursday at 2 o'clock. We have a great Shi here, current events in the Haftorah. I'll show you how the Nevi'im of 2,500 years ago are actually speaking about what? Today's current events. So they didn't fail because they're speaking to us. And they're causing waves of Baal Tshuva because of the Nevi'im of the 48 that are recorded. Speaking to us today. What?
But not tomorrow. Tomorrow's no class.
What? No, tomorrow there's no class because it's Purim. But next Thursday, we have current events in the Haftorah. You'll see how the Haftorah is actually God's GPS, God's personal system to address our current problems and solutions. Now, Yom Kippurim, it's a bizarre that the Zohar says that tomorrow is a day like Yom Kippur. How could it be a day like Yom Kippur? Isn't that strange and bizarre? So the Riyah Kodesh tells us that the real test of Kedusha is not to deny your Gashmius, but to indulge and still remain you're a Jew. It's no trick to fast and daven all day. You're hungry, you're tired, you don't smell too good. Even if you wanted to do a sin, who'd sin with you on Yom Kippur? You don't smell good, you're hungry, you're tired, you don't have the koach to sin even if you wanted to. Right? Bad breath. But on Purim, when you're indulging your physical desires, you're letting yourself go and you still remember, Avi, that you're a Jew. That's more difficult, says the Riyah Kodesh. The real test of Kedusha is not to deny your Gashmius, but to be Mekadesh it. And therefore the Gemara Psachim says, Ein Kiddush el Makam Suda. So technically, Yehud, it means when you make Kiddush on Shabbos, you're not Yoitza unless you have a meal with it. Ein Kiddush el Makam Suda. But the Riyah Kodesh says Kabbalistically, Ein Kiddush el Makam Suda means that you can't measure a person's true Kedusha unless you observe how he behaves during the Suda. You hear that? The real test of Kedusha, you want to gauge someone's Kedusha, it's not how they fast, but it's how they feast. That's where a person's Kedusha, he's feasting, he's letting himself go, and he still acts like a Jew. That's the true test of Kedusha. It's no trick to fast and daven all day and be an angel when you can't sin even if you wanted to. You don't have the koach. But to indulge your physical desires and still remember you're an Eved Hashem, that's true Kedusha. That's where Kedusha is found. Not how a person fasts, but how a person what? Feasts. And therefore today or tomorrow is Yom Kippurim, says the Ari. A day like Purim. On Purim, on Yom Kippur, our neshama is getting atonement. But on Purim, our guf is getting atonement. Our guf is getting atonement. Right? Now, Purim has 6 mitzvot. People think there are only 4. There are 6 mitzvot. Number 1, to hear the Megillah. Number 2, to say Al Anishim. Number 3, to read Vayovay Amalek. Purim morning, you have to hear Exodus 17 read. Just like women have to hear the Megillah, they have to read Vayovay Amalek. Matanas Lavyonim. Mishloach Monot. And the last of the 6 mitzvahs is to have a Suda with wine. So why do you save the Suda for last? So this Friday morning will be very hectic. You have to do all the 5 mitzvot, read the Megillah, say Al Anisim, read Vayovay Amalek, Exodus 17, Matanas Lavyonim, Mishloach Monos, and Achrein Chaviv, Suda with wine. Why does the Suda come at the end? Otherwise you're too drunk to do the other 5 mitzvahs, right? Achron Chaviv, saving the best for last. So to understand why Suda comes last, surely we have to understand, why does Judaism revolve around manja? They try to kill us, we won, let's eat. Right? Shabbos, Yontif, Brit Milah, Chasana, finishing a Masechta, all of Yahadut revolves around eating. Why is that? So Rav Pam Zatzal explained, when you have a Yontiv, a Shabbat, a Brit Milah, finishing a Masech, there's a tremendous amount of Kedusha that the Neshama is absorbing. From the event, the Suda, the Shabbos, Yontiv, finishing a Masechta, the Brit Milah, Bar Mitzvah, tremendous amount of Kedusha that the Neshama is absorbing from the event. But the Guf says, what am I, chopped liver? I also want to participate. How do I participate in the Kedusha? Manja. By eating the chopped liver. It's called Avi, spiritual osmosis. My Rebbe used that. If you don't like chopped liver, so you eat the tofu. Right? The vegan. By eating, you are I think it's called a transfusion. You are transferring the Kedusha that the Neshama absorbed from the Neshama into the Guf. And that's why Yahadus revolves around eating. Because a human being is made up of body and soul. How does the body get to participate in the Kedusha that the soul is absorbing? Manja. And therefore we leave the Suda for last. First we do all the other 5 mitzvot. Megillah, Al Anishim, reading Vayovay Amalek, Matanas Tavyonim, Mishloach Monot. Once the Neshama is saturated with all that Kedusha, now it's time, Kani, manja. Now it's time for this transfusion. How do I get the Megillah mitzvah and Mashloach Monos mitzvah and Matanas Tavyonim mitzvah? How do I get to transfer that from the soul to the body? Manja. And therefore the Suda is left for what? For last. To absorb and transfer the Kedusha of all the mitzvahs of Purim from the Neshama to the Guf. And therefore first you have to do all the other 5 mitzvahs, Yehud, and then you're ready for the transfusion or the spiritual osmosis. And therefore the Suda, what? Always comes what? Last. Now in Purim, there's a mitzvah to drink and go to sleep. V'yiradeim, Yishan. There's a mitzvah to sleep like a baby on Purim. Last night, I slept like a baby, Mickey. I woke up crying every hour. Okay? There's a mitzvah to sleep. Why is there a mitzvah to sleep? You ever see a baby fall asleep in a car seat? The baby's so sleeping peacefully. Why? He doesn't see his mother or father. Maybe they'll leave him in the car. Huh? But he's sleeping peacefully because a baby, Avi, trusts that his mommy and daddy will never abandon him even though he doesn't see them. He has faith and trust in his Abba v'Ima. On Purim, we can sleep like a baby because we have faith and trust that our Abba, Ruvain, doesn't abandon us even though we don't see him. Like the little baby doesn't see his parents, right? But he can sleep faithfully, full of trust. So on Purim, we are like that child. We trust that our Father in heaven will never what? Abandon us. We have faith and trust in him. Let's take a look at our sheets now. Let's talk about, may women read the Megillah for men. Please look at side number 1. I hope you all have a paper. Thanks to Yehuda. Side number 1. May women read the Megillah for men. Now, first of all, may women write a Megillah.
Why not?
Now, women cannot write a Sefer Torah or Tefillin and Mezuzah. But a woman can write the Megillah. It says, Vatichtov Esther. Who wrote the Megillah? Esther. In the word Vatichtov, Yehuda, she wrote, that's all she wrote, is written with a giant tuf. Why is it written with a giant tuf? You don't have it. You look in the Megillah, you'll see. Just like Tuf is the last letter in the Hebrew alphabet, Megillat Esther was the last book of Tanakh. So Vatichtov Esther, Esther wrote the Megillah with a giant Tuf. Tuf is the last letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Megillat Esther is the last book in Tanakh. So a woman can write a kosher Megillah. Unlike what? A Sefer Torah and Tefillah Mezuzah, which she's not permitted to write. But the question is, can she read the Megillah for a man? Before we get to that, Esther doesn't want to commit adultery. She's married to Mordechai. She doesn't want to go to seduce the king to save the Jewish people. So Mordechai warns her, if you don't go, Revach v'hatzala yamoid la Yehudim mokam acher. Salvation and Hatzalah will come to the Jews from another place. Va'at ubeis avich tovedu. But you and your father's house will be destroyed. Why, Avi? There's a plan B. God always has a plan B. He has to, Ruvain, because we have free will. So Mordechai says, if you don't do it, the Jews will get saved from another place. Because God has an eternal covenant with the Jewish people. He never let us down. So there's a plan B. So he says, Va'atu beis avich of tovedu. But if you and your father's house will be destroyed, why? If there's a plan B, and the Jewish people, Chanoch, are going to be what? Saved. Then why will Esther's house be destroyed? Rabbi Yaakov, a starke kasha over here.
What do you mean destroyed? They're going to be killed?
Read the Megillah, my friend. Va'at ubeis avich tovedu. You and your father's house will be destroyed. My question, Yehuda, is why?
What does destroyed mean?
I don't know. Look up in the dictionary. What does destroyed mean?
It could be killed or...
Tovedu means destroyed. My question, Ruvain, is if there's going to be salvation from another place, because there got to be a plan B, God has to have a backup plan, surely. Why is that? Because we have free will. Esther had free will. Esther, you could have refused. So there's got to be a backup plan. So if there's a backup plan, why will you and your house be destroyed? You ever think about that, Esther? What?
You had the ability in your hands to save, and you didn't, so therefore everyone else would be saved with you.
Well, I don't understand that. So Ayatollah Kakamemi will only kill you? Don't make no sense, Shirley. There'll be a revach v'hatzola mimokam acher. The Jews will be saved, but you and your house, you and your father will be destroyed. What's you and your father be destroyed? It makes no sense. Hello? Yes?
Well, maybe because the destruction is going to come before the saving, and she'll be amongst those that...
But why? Revach v'hatzola will come. The Jewish people will have hatzola Yehuda mamokam acher. There's a plan B. But you and your father's house will be destroyed. Could have said, you will be destroyed. Why does Mordechai have to say ubeis avich? Fasten your seatbelts, Shelley. Because Esther comes from the house of Shaul. Who was Esther's great-grandfather? Shaul HaMelech. Shaul HaMelech left Agag alive. And who does Haman come from? From Agag. So Esther, you have to do it. You must do the tikkun to save your father's house. The Beis Shaul. Shaul, your Beis Avich. Because if you don't do it, your Beis Avich will be destroyed in Olam Haba. Your great-grandfather Shaul HaMelech is counting on you. Because if you don't do it, you'll be saved. Ubeis Avich, but your great-grandfather will lose his Olam Haba. Why do we have Ayatollah Kakamemi? Shaul didn't do the job. He had Rachmanis on Agag, the king of the Iranians. He had Rachmanis on them. He left them alive. And who came from Agag? Haman. Because if Shaul HaMelech Rabbi Yaakov would have done the job, there would be no Haman. He didn't do the job. So centuries later, his great-great-granddaughter Esther has to come and what? Do the tikkun. But if you don't do it, ubeis avich tovedu, your father, your great-grandfather Shaul will be lost in Olam Haba. Don't you see? It ain't over till it's over. Right? We're all connected. Shaul HaMelech in Olam Haba is waiting, Esther. Ubeis avich. Who's your father's house? Yehuda, who? Who's your father's house? Shaul. He messed up terribly. He's been in anguish in Olam Haba for centuries. You can redeem him. So if you don't do it, it'll get done. But your father will be destroyed in Olam Haba. You don't want to let him down. Isn't that incredible? Ubeis avich. Who's your father's house? Shaul HaMelech.
Say that who your father was, who you're doing it.
The Gemara Megila proves that she is a direct descendant of Shaul HaMelech. Grandpa messed up. Ruvain. So granddaughter has to clean up the doo-doo. Otherwise, grandpa cannot rest in the afterlife. It ain't over till it's over. Chanoch, understand? It's amazing. Otherwise, why does he say all the Jewish people will be saved? Plan B. God has a plan B. But your father's house will be destroyed. Shaul HaMelech is waiting in Olam Haba. Masha.
She has to be the kapara also.
Okay. She is a descendant. She has Shaul HaMelech's DNA. DNA, divine natural ability. Right? Grandpa messes up. We got to do the tikkun. We got to do the tikkun. So all the Jews will be saved except your great-grandpa. He's been dead for centuries, but his neshama, in anticipation, he's counting on his great-granddaughter to seduce the king, to save the Jewish people, to get him out of hell. Okay, now, can women read the Megillah or not? Side number 1. You see that? Side number 1, source number 2. Yehuda, you have that? I think you have it, a check there. In the yellow. They call me mellow yellow. Side number 1, source 2. Hakol chayovin. Everyone have a paper? Hakol chayovin mikra Megillah. Everyone has to read the Megillah. Hakol kshavin l'kos Megillah. Everyone is kosher to read Megillah. Lasuye mai, lasuye noshim. Even women can read the Megillah. Kishur ben Levi, Damar Shur ben Levi, noshim chayovot mikra Megillah. Women also have to read the Megillah. Shafei moya ba'osanes. Because women were also in the miracle of what? That even though Megillah, Chanoch, is a time-bound mitzvah, and women usually are exempt from time-bound mitzvahs, because what? They have a more important role to take care of their family. That's more important to God than putting on tefillin. Connie, how come you don't put on tefillin? Because God says you have a more important role to take care of your darling husband and your grandchildren. That's more important than putting on tefillin. So if a lady puts on tefillin, she's demeaning herself. Unfortunately, some women women off the wall, they just don't know. Nebuch. What?
Rashi's daughters were at a high madressa.
You were there? I don't know. How do you know? How do you know Rashi's daughters? Where is it written? On the Google? I don't know. I don't know about that. But anyway, if a woman puts on tefillin, she's lowering herself because she has a higher calling. But Megillah is an exception. Megillah, women have to do because they were also in the miracle. Now look at Rashi, Erech and Gimel. You see that, Yehuda? Number 2. Rashi, Lasuye Nashim. I have it in yellow, I think. No? Is it in yellow? Yeah, in yellow. Lasuye, to include women. Shechayava is b'mikra Megillah. Women have to read the Megillah. What's the next word? Uksherot likrota v'lahotzi zcharim. Yidei chavasam. Rashi's opinion, Yehuda, I don't want to shock you, in Erech page 3, that a woman can read the Megillah ulahotzi. What does lahotzi mean? And to fulfill the obligation of what? Zcharim. What zcharim mean? Men, Yidei chavasam. The lahotzi zcharim. So Rashi was a Haredi rabbi. Connie, Rashi was Haredi rabbi, right? In the year 1060, he writes that a woman can read the Megillah for a man and be yotzi a man. Why? Why is that? Not only because she's mechuyev, more than that. Look at source number 3. Shafem hoye b'osanes. You see in the left-hand corner? Shafem hoye b'osanes. Keminan besota b'schar noshim tzidkoniot b'osador nigalu. Rashi says that the whole miracle of the Exodus only happened because of the righteous women. V'chein gabe mikra Megillah. The whole miracle of Purim happened because of the righteous women become Esther. Not just Esther, all the women. You hear? So the Nes Purim and the Nes Yitzias Mitzrayim and the Nes Chanukah all happened not for the chief rabbis, but because of what? Women. So since women caused the Nes Purim, not just they benefited, Yehuda, they caused the Nes Purim in their merit. Just like the Exodus happened in their merit, the Nes Purim happened in their merit, and therefore women have all the obligations of Pesach, even though it's a time-bound mitzvah, and also the obligations of Purim, even though it's a time-bound mitzvah, because the whole miracle of Purim, like Exodus, only happened in the schar of what? Noshim tzidkoniot. This is Rashi. Very strange. You would look at source number 4. Source number 4 is Rashbam. See source number 4? That's the Rashbam. Shafei moi boisanes. He quotes the same source as Grandpa. Source number 4. B'schar noshim tzidkonios shabosodor. The whole Exodus happened not because of Moses and Aaron, but because of the righteous women. They were redeemed. V'chein Yehuda gabe mikra Megillah. Therefore, women have to read the Megillah, even for men, because in their merit, the Nes Purim happened. Mishim al Yidei Esther. V'chein gabe Chanukah. Who's he quoting? Yehuda. Loshain Moreini Halevi. He's quoting his Rebbe Halevi, which is very strange. Why doesn't he quote his grandfather? Yehuda, can you ask Rabbi Yeris this? Can you take this sheet to Rabbi Yeris? I have it underlined 3 and 4. Rashi says exactly, Rashbam was his grandson, says the same exact source. Women were instrumental in the miracle, therefore they have to read the Megillah. And instead of quoting his grandfather, Tirza, maybe you can ask Reb Mordechai. Why is he quoting Ramenu Halevi instead of quoting what?
Because it's created a family tradition, but it doesn't apply to the whole world.
Now you don't understand. He's quoting the same source that Rashi is quoting. Instead of giving Rashi credit, his grandfather, he gives credit Loshen Moreini Halevi. Moreinu. Who's Moreinu Halevi?
Maybe Rashi also learned from
I would quote my grandfather, Tirza. I think it's very schwer. Can you ask Marvin? Seriously. Why is he quoting Moreinu Halevi when he's exactly repeating the words of his grandfather Rashi?
Was Rashi a Levi?
Rashi was not a Levi. He should have said Rabbeinu Shlomo Yitzchaki, Asaba Sheli. This is Rabbi Yeris. Don't quinky dinky. You go into Rabbi Yeris. I have it underlined 3 and 4, Yehuda. Okay? So very strange. But anyway, what?
He disagrees with his grandfather on other respects.
Yeah, but here he agrees with him. That makes the kasha starker. He's saying the same things Grandpa's saying.
But if you choose, you can't go shopping for a rabbi.
Here he agrees with his grandfather. Wouldn't it be logical to quote Grandpa? He's saying the exact same sources. Avraham, you with me on this?
If you look at the words verbatim, they vary.
But very same idea.
The idea
Exactly the same idea.
But the words are kadosh, kadosh, holy, holy. You don't change the word. You say the exact same word for word.
Loshen Moreinu Halevi. I think, but I don't want to get hung up on that. I think it's a stark kasha. Tirza, you wouldn't quote your grandfather? Well, you have to go shopping to another source.
No, but I'm thinking that if I wanted to make a stronger argument, I wouldn't quote my grandfather. I'd quote another source that also said the same thing and held weight.
Oh.
A source that held weight.
Not nepotism. Okay, I hear. Now, why do women, the schus of noshim tzidkanios, men gave up hope in Mitzrayim, men gave up hope in Shushan Abira. They wanted to throw in the towel. Who saved the day? Here I come to save the day. Women. Why? Because women have a bina yetera, Abraham. Women have a bina yetera. Gemara Nida, page 45. I took my spirulina, not today, but yesterday. Women have a bina yetera. Gemara Nida 45.
They usually do save the day.
What? They do. Now I'll tell you, Tirza, if you came just to hear this. Women have a bina yetera. When Sarah died, the Talmud says, all of her years, kulan shavin latova. 90 years she was barren. 90 years she was barren. What does a woman want more than anything? A baby, right? 90 years she couldn't have a baby. Kidnapped by Arafat, Avimelech, taken to the harem, kidnapped by Pharaoh. And yet when she died, kulan shavin latova. Buddy, all of the years were good? Hello?
She got around, didn't she?
Huh? Despite, oh, please close that. Despite all of her tzarot, she said, kulan shavin latova. Masha, you hear this? Despite the pain and anguish, barren, cried herself to sleep, was being mocked by Hagar, kidnapped by Avimelech, today's Arafat. Kidnapped by whom? Pharaoh, wandering, what a life, nomad. Yet when she died, kulan shavin latova, despite all of her tzarish, she said gamzu latova. Now when Abraham died, it doesn't say gamzu latova. Ooh, look in Rashi, Abraham. When Abraham Avinu died, Rashi doesn't say, the Chazal don't say kulan shavin latova. No. Women have a bina yetera. It says by Adam, Lo toiv hayois Adam levado. A man, when he's alone, before he has a wife, he can't see the good in tragic situations. So before Abraham married Sarah, all those years that he suffered, Dr. Abraham said he couldn't see the good in it. Only when he married Mama Sarah, she pointed out, Abraham, let me straighten you out. It looks bad, but there's a hidden good there. So only by her, kulan shavin latova, she could see the good despite the tragedy with the bina yetera. Abraham, it doesn't say when he died, kulan shavin latova. It doesn't say that. Because until he married Sarah, he couldn't see any good in the suffering. Because he doesn't have nechama, your bina yetera. What's the analogy? We are like a raw diamond. A raw diamond needs to be cut and polished to shine. You have to cut and cut. The more you cut, the more the diamond what? Shines. We all shine on, but only after the cuts. Esther, you ladies know that better than us men. Despite all the cuts and the tzarot, the raw diamond can only shine after it's cut and polished and rubbed and cut again. We men can't see it because we don't have the bina yetera. And therefore, a woman makes a bracha in the morning, Shosani kirtzono. God, you made me exactly the way you are. Do you know that? That's what you ladies make. Women are more godlike. And therefore, your father could be the Vilna Gaon. Does that make you Jewish?
No.
Your father could be a Puerto Rican. But if your mother is Jewish, you're Jewish. Your father can be Holy Moses. Does it make you Jewish? Masha? No. Because the godly soul only routes through what? The mama, the mama, the mama, the mama. Because women are more godlike. So your father could be Rabbi Kiva Eger. That will not make you Jewish. The mama. Because women are more godlike. So anyway, Rashi says over here, amazing Rashi, Yehuda highlighted it, that women can read the Megillah for men. V'lahoitzi scharim. What is that lahotzi? To fill the obligation for men too. You show Marvin the source. Okay, we don't paskin from Rashi. Don't get nervous. But this is what Rashi says. Hello? Rashi says that women can be yotzim men their obligation.
You better put some caveats in there, otherwise they'll start quoting you.
Right? But that's not the halacha. So therefore we go to side number 2. There's always a side number 2, right? Side number 2, take a look at source number 12, Yehuda. This is the Shulchan Aruch. Hakol chayovim b'kriyosai. Look at side number 12, halacha bet. Side number 12. Side number 2. I'm mixed up. I didn't eat today. So side number 2, source 12, halacha bet. Echat hakoreh ve'echat hashemeya min hakoreh yotzei chavosei. Whether the reader and whether the listener, each one has fulfilled their obligation. But it can't be from someone that's not obligated to read. Lefikach, therefore, if the reader is deaf and dumb or he's a minor, since he's not obligated, he cannot fulfill. Next, Mashi. See that? The Yesh Amrim? The Yesh Amrim? Yeah. Who wants to read that? Shehanoshim einam tzias hanoshim. Some say that women cannot fulfill the obligation for men. Some say, meaning that some say they can. Hello, v'yesh omrim shehanoshim einam tzias hanoshim. Some say women cannot fulfill the obligation for what? For men. Implying that what? That others say yes. But we paskin that women should not read for men. The question is why? Why? We paskin like the Hagah. See the Hagah? The Yesh Armim, that a woman makes Lishmoa Megillah, not Chayevet B'Kriya. I think you asked me that, right? You see that in source number 12? The Ramah says if a woman reads the Megillah, she makes the bracha what? Lishmoa Megillah. And if a man reads it, he makes what? Al Mikra Megillah. Al Mikra Megillah. You see that? So it looks like they have two separate obligations.
That's even if a woman is reading for just a group of women?
Okay. So look at source number 15. This is the Mishnah Brura. See source number 15? It's not Veloy Domi L'ner Chanukah. The Shani Megillah. Why can a woman not read for a man? The Havikamo Kriya Satorah. just like Kriyas HaTorah, it's not Koved HaTzibur. It's not tznius to have a woman get up there and what? And read for men. It's not Koved HaTzibur. Okay? Now, if a woman reads for herself, should she make Al Mikra Megillah, or should she make what? Lishmoa Megillah. According to the Mechaber of Yosef Cairo, women make the same bracha as men. Al Mikra Megillah. According to the Ramah, the Ashkenazi posik, if women read for what? The women, they should make what? Lishmoa Megillah. Don't mix me up, Masha. I'm mixed up enough. Right? So according to the Sephardi posek, women who read for themselves should make Al Mikra Megillah like men. The Ramah says that if a woman reads for herself, she doesn't say Al Mikra Megillah, but she makes Lishmoa Megillah. Okay? Now, not so simple.
Even though she's doing the reading.
Right?
It makes a little sense.
Right? So a woman should not read for men. It's not Koved HaTzibur. In Yiddish it says pasnisht. How do you say that in Yiddish? It's pasnisht. It's not tznius. But she can read for what? For herself, and she can read for other women. She can read for herself, and she can read for other women. She can read not just for herself, but she can read for a bunch of other women. What bracha would she make? If she's a Sephardi woman, she'll make the same bracha buddy as a man, which is what? Al Mikra Megillah. If she's a Ashkenazi lady and she's reading for other ladies, she will make what? Lishmoa. See the Ramah? Isha kora la'atzma mevarechet Yehuda lishmoa Megillah. Now, can women make a minyan to read the Megillah for themselves? Connie, you hear the question? Can women make women can read for other women? You don't need a minyan. But if they want to, can you? Now, a man can read the Megillah for himself. But beroivam hadras melech, what does that mean? Parsumi Nisa, it's better to read the Megillah in a minyan. Moshe, because you're publicizing, Avi, what are you publicizing? The miracle of Jewish survival against Ayatollah Kakamemi, the modern day Haman. He speaks just like the same language, Yehuda. I mean, and buddy, 2,400 years later, you have the same Haman speaking that just shot a missile last week, tested a missile, ballistic, and it's written on the missile, Israel must be destroyed. That's Haman talking, same language, same country, same address, right? And we had Achashverosh, the buffoon, who saved us then. Now we have a new buffoon, a non-Jewish buffoon, the Donald. Perhaps he's going to play the role of what? Of Achashverosh. He's a clown. Like, God has a sense of humor. Purim spiel. Trump is going to win. Trump is going to win. He's going to be the Achashverosh to save the Jewish people from the modern day Haman. See if I'm not right. Come November, and you say, I told you so. He's the only candidate that says that he's going to go to war against Haman, i.e. Iran, Persia, to save Israel. The only candidate.
He says no.
He said that?
Ted Cruz said I listened to him a few hours ago.
No, but that he said on Tuesday. Wednesday he said the other way. You have to catch him on what day. You have to catch him on what day he says it. But I think, just like Achashverosh the buffoon saved the Jewish people for his Jewish wife, this buffoon, the Donald, will save Israel for the sake of his Jewish grandchildren. His grandchildren go to yeshiva, Connie. Isn't that bizarre? God does have a sense of humor. God does have a sense of humor. Purim Spiel, 2016. Chanoch, fast forward 2,400 years. So, the halacha is that women should not read for men. It's not Koved HaTzibur. Unlike Rashi, Yehuda, I underlined it. Show Rabbi Yeris. Rashi says women can read for men. Too bad we don't paskin like Rashi. Okay? But that's what Rashi says. I don't know. We're going to find out later tonight. Okay? What? And the Shulchan Aruch says, Yehuda, again, source number 12, halacha bet, I have it underlined. The Yesh Omrim, see it underlined? Source number 12, halacha bet. Yehuda, with me? The Yesh Omrim, some say, shehanoshim, that women, eino mitzias as anoshim, cannot fulfill the obligation reading for men. That's Yesh Omrim. What does that mean, Chanoch?
Some say.
Implying that others say that a woman can read for men. But that's not our halacha. It's not kavod hatzibur. Okay? Now, but women can read for other women. Can they make their own minyan? Chanoch, can they make their own minyan? Source number 18, if you came just to see this, Tirza, please give this to Marvin. Source number 18. I think you have it underlined, no? No? Source number 18. Yehuda. This is Matoch HaSefer Nefesh Harav by Rav Soloveitchik, the great tzaddik posek Rav Soloveitchik. I'll read it to you, Yehuda. Source number 18, check. Dova Yadua, he says, Rav Soloveitchik. This is his Talmud writing, Rav Shechter, Rav Herschel Shechter. Dova Yaduahu, it is known, Sherabeinu, our Rebbe. Who's our Rebbe? Rav Soloveitchik. Rav Shechter is writing in Nefesh Harav. Hivia datoi lekama v'kama rabbonim be'Amerika. He gave his opinion to many rabbis in America. What's the next word? Uve Canada. She'ein min hanachon. It is not correct. Lahanig bebet hakneset, to conduct in a shul kivutzei tefillah. What's the next word? Miyachadim lenoshim. It is not correct to allow women's minyan in shul lenoshim b'shabbatot on Shabbos, lo likros haTorah, not to read the Torah, women's reading of the Torah, v'lo likras ha-Megillah, v'lo la'kofos miyochedet, and not to have what? Kofos miyoched. Yehuda, this is a modern Orthodox rabbi? I don't know. Avram, you with me on this? Rav Soloveitchik, his Talmud, Rav Herschel Shechter quotes him. It is known that our Rebbe told all the rabbis who asked America and Canada, it's not correct, lahanik bebet hakneset, to conduct in a shul kvutzat tefillah. What does that mean? Miyachadim lenoshim. Special minyan for ladies b'shabbatot, v'lo likras haTorah, v'lo likrat ha-Megillah, not to have a woman's Torah reading, and not to have what? Woman reading Megillah, v'lo la'kofes miyochedes, and not for what? To have their own ladies akofes. So I want to make a diut, and I checked this out with Rav Avram Kowalski, and he agreed with me. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it on my own. Rav Avram Kowalski, a dear friend of mine. Rabbi, and I made this diuk to him, and he agreed with me. The Rav said, "Lahanik bebet hakneset." The Isser is only in shul, because the men will crash the party. It won't be tznius. The women have a nicer kiddush at their reading the Megillah or the Kriyas HaTorah. So men will be very I'm curious, George. So the men will crash the party. But private minyan at home, the Rav would say it's okay. Now, I wouldn't say this on my own, but I bounced this off Rav Avram Kowalski, and he agreed with me. The Rav says clearly, Lahanik bebet hakneset, Rav Yaakov. Why do you have to say that? Where else? On the moon? So the Rav meant bebet hakneset, because in shul the men will crash. They want a date, Chanoch. They want a date. Kuchi shmuchi. Women have a nicer kiddush. So it's not tznius. But the Rav would perhaps agree that at home it's okay for women to have a minyan at home to read the Megillah and to read the Torah and to have akofis. Otherwise, why would he stress Yehuda lahanik bebet hakneset? Can you bounce that off, Rabbi Yeris? Okay, I think I'm right. Rav Avram Kowalski agrees with me. What? But the kol is like a bet knesset. In a private home, it'd be okay. In your private home in Achlaot, women can get together and have a Megillah reading.
They said the same thing about the women wearing the tefillin at the kotel. There were some rabbis that agreed, some didn't.
A woman can't wear tefillin, it's cross-dressing. Even in your home, you can't wear tefillin. A woman who wears tefillin is guilty of cross-dressing. Tefillin is a man's article of clothing, slicha.
What was it that Rabbi made?
Say the same
The
thing
point
about
I'm trying to make is they're using exactly the same point you're using right now, and that's because it was a mikhom sipur.
That is what?
Because it was mikhom sipur. It was a public place. Somewhere
dressing.
But tefillin is cross-dressing even in your...
Some rabbis
Not so.
agreed with it, said in mikhom
That's
prati,
not
it's not a
dressing.
problem.
That's
Talis and tefillin, the Targum Yonasan, Masha, the Targum Yonatan Ben Azil, one of the greatest students of Hillel HaZokain, in the pasuk where it says women should not cross-dress, he says, what does it mean? Talit and tefillin. So if a woman puts on talis and tefillin, she is cross-dressing. Uh-oh. Now,
Rabbi,
yes?
Rabbi said the same thing about women who serve in the army. They wear a gun, they're cross.
That's pekuach nefesh. What are you talking about, buddy? If your life is in danger, you're supposed to be Mechala Shabbat. If she wouldn't carry a gun, Abu Mamzer would kill her. It's pekuach nefesh, Ruvain. Pekuach nefesh pushes away Shabbos and pushes away cross-dressing. Pekuach nefesh. You're in the army now. It's pekuach nefesh, Abraham. Pekuach nefesh pushes away the entire Torah except the 3 cardinal sins. But Rav Soloveitchik did rule that women may say Kaddish in the Ezras Noshim together with men. Rav Soloveitchik ruled that a woman who lost her parent can say Kaddish in the Ezras Noshim when men are saying it what? In the men's section. So that's okay. So the great Rav Soloveitchik is very exacting in his words. He says the minhag is not to allow, the halach is not to lahanik bebet hakneset, not to have women's minyan to read the Megillah in a bet hakneset, implying that if it wasn't a bet hakneset, it would perhaps be okay for women to what? Have their own minyan in their home to read the Megillah for other minyan. Thank you very much.